Robert Nyaga, Acting Senior Deputy Director, Parliamentary Budget Office.
Dr. Abel Nyagwachi from Parliamentary Budget Office.
Julie Mudiga from the Parliamentary Budget Office.
Sylvia Ocharo, Policy Analyst.
My name is Lois Solesia, Parliamentary Budget Office. Priscilla Wango, Parliamentary Budget Office.
Solomon Albala, Parliamentary Budget Office.
Kiminza Kioko, Fiscal Analyst, PBO.
Nyango Adera, Parliamentary Budget Office.
Frida Ngari, Media Relations Officer.
Jared Amara, Parliamentary Budget Office.
Regina Muturi from the Parliamentary Budget Office.
Millicent Makina, Parliamentary Budget Office.
David William Hansard. Oko Simon, Sergeant at Arms.
Good afternoon, my name is Nimrod Ochieng, Audio Officer.
I'm David Gedeji, Office of the Auditor General, Liaison Office.
Good afternoon, Danson Kachumbo, Committee Clerk.
Thank you very much, members. And members, as you can see, today we are hosting the National Treasury, led by the Prime Cabinet Secretary, His Excellency Musalia Mudavadi, and I will request that Your Excellency may introduce your team.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Musalia Mudavadi, Acting CS for the National Treasury. I'll request my colleagues to introduce themselves very quickly.
Honorable Chair, honorable members of this committee, my name is Chris Kito, the Principal Secretary, National Treasury, and we are accompanied here by a large team, and I'll ask them to introduce.
My name is Albert Mwenda, the Director General for Budget, Fiscal and Economic Affairs at the National Treasury.
Bernard Dungu, DG Accounting Services, National Treasury.
Good afternoon, honorable members. My name is Agnes Odhiambo, Advisor in the Office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary.
Honorable Chair, honorable members of the committee, my name is Nick Piketty, Secretary Legislative and Parliamentary Affairs, Office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary.
Honorable members, my name is Peter Warutere, Secretary Strategic Communication in the Office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary in Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Samuel Okilo, Director of Planning, National Treasury.
Good afternoon. My name is Eunice Kigen, Budget Department, National Treasury.
Good afternoon. John Jera is my name, Director of Planning, Macro and Fiscal Affairs, National Treasury.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Miriam Musyoki. I work under the National Treasury.
My name is Nixon Murati. I work under the National Treasury.
Good afternoon. My name is Anders Hachi, Press Service from the Office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary.
Chair and honorable members, Isabella Koge is my name, Deputy Director, Parliamentary Affairs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Members, again, I want to welcome you to this session. As has been the way we conduct our business, when there is a budget cycle, we are usually very, very busy as the budget committee because we have to listen to all the departmental committees, then representing all the ministries, departments, and agencies of government. And then this process is always integral to the National Treasury. What we do here is very integral to the National Treasury, and that is why the entire process is always very consultative. Previously, we could have an entry meeting with the National Treasury even before we meet all the other MDS and through their departmental committees. But this time, we were very squeezed in regards to time, and we had then to only have one meeting, which is both the entry and the exit meeting, because we purpose to be tabling this report to the floor of the House tomorrow, Tuesday. And therefore, whatever we are doing now is to get feedback from the National Treasury, see what else we need to do together, so that as we table the report tomorrow, it is a report that encompasses our aspirations and the aspirations of the government. Members, even before I throw the ball back to the National Treasury, it is important that we all know why we are conducting these meetings. We have been saying it as a ritual to all the people who've been appearing. This is unprecedented, where we are having a supplementary budget barely below a month after we pass the main budget. We are actually having the supplementary budget, but to us, technically, we know it is actually the main budget, because we never had a chance also to implement the budget that we passed and was signed into law by the President and became the Appropriations Act. And therefore, what we'll be doing today, to the benefit of all Kenyans, is actually the main budget. It's only called the supplementary one because there is no other semantics for it. Members, we passed a budget of over 4 trillion shillings. We have had now to relook at what we need to do now, because the budget we passed just shy of 4 trillion. It was 4.992 trillion. We had hoped that after passing the expenditure side of the budget, then the budget will be funded. But the Kenyan people told us we need to do something, our things differently. And therefore, we then had to make an arrangement where our revenue side of the budget matches with the expenditure side. Because the revenue raising measures, if they are not there, then it means even the expenditure cannot continue to exist as it was. Therefore, what we are doing is two-way, and will be enumerated better by the National Treasury. It is to borrow slightly more. We had a budget then with a fiscal deficit of 3.83%. Currently, we are now having one before us, which is around 4.2 to 4.3% deficit to GDP ratio. It means we are borrowing slightly more. On the other hand, we have had now to look at ourselves internally and inward, and therefore look at expenditure that we can postpone and others that we could cancel, so that we are able to live in a manner that matches the revenue that we expect. And in that respect then, we have been holding Your Excellency meetings with the departmental committees. All of them without exemption have had budget cuts. And all of them, I want to appreciate all the members of parliament through the departmental committees that they are members in, that we have decided, all of us, that these times are different, and therefore we need to think differently. And for the first time, Your Excellency, in my terms in service of Kenyans as an MP, I've never had any other chance where CDF is being cut and there seems to be no one complaining about it. This is the first time I have seen. And we are doing that because we know where we are, and we really need to look at our financials and live within our means. Also, Your Excellency, we are cutting this budget across all levels of government and across all departments of government. When it comes to all levels, because I'm saying that because they have appeared before you came, we are actually looking at the equitable share, which is likely also to have a haircut of 20 billion. The parliament itself, parliament is losing 3.7 billion Kenya shillings. And also the national government is losing. Every other person has to contribute to this deficit. As I come to the close, there are things that we have gone through as the parliament, through the departmental committees, and we feel that as also the representatives of the and if there is no enough money, there are things that we have decided that we must fund. One of those things, honorable members, is that we have decided, and the Education Committee appeared before us, that the 46,000 JSS interns who have been almost volunteering in our learning institutions, being paid monies that are not commensurate with the work they are doing, that we have to provide monies for their confirmation to permanent and pensionable terms. The second thing that we have looked at as the committee, and we feel it is very important for us to fund, is the UHC staff who have also been in those kind of situations. There are also some other staff within our healthcare who have also been in internships. And we are also looking forward into funding their confirmation into permanent and pensionable. The other thing that we looked at through the Departmental Committee of Agriculture is that we are going to be funding the fertilizer subsidy to a tune of 10 billion Kenya shillings. And on top of that, Your Excellency, also, we purpose also to fund other critical areas. For example, the new KCC. We are providing for them over 2 billion shillings. Raw milk prices. When it rains, milk prices go down and the farmers lose. So we are giving new KCC 1.5 billion Kenya shillings to act as defense for the milk prices when it comes to what the farmers get, so that farmers can get at the very least 50 shillings per litre, and therefore we are providing for 53, so that at around 3 shillings we'll take care of the SACCOs management and the farmers get their fair share. We have also included monies for coffee cherry fund, more over 2 billion shillings. We have also provided monies 2 billion to start clearing coffee debts for the coffee farmers. At the same time, we have provided monies for sugar reforms for sugar farmers who have had arrears owed to public factories, and also in terms of technology enhancement within the sugar sector, so that we improve the sugar sector to be sucrose based other than just weight. There are many things that we have considered, but I want to first stop there, even knowing that, Your Excellency, there are expectations on this committee. We had the Maraga Commission, which went around our security organs, and they have there provided that our security officers deserve an immediate enhancement of their take-home and salaries. We are looking for ways, if it comes, we will be glad that also we honor the task force by seeing what we can do, so that we also incorporate their views in the budget making process. There are many things which I'm sure you'll be enumerating, and in that respect, I now want to throw the ball to the side of His Excellency Musalia Mudavadi, who is the Prime Cabinet Secretary. Karibu sana.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you for your comments, and also indicating that you have already led on austerity measures. I want to say that we concur with you, at least I do, that this is really unprecedented, because it's the first time in the history of Kenya that a supplementary estimate is coming into place barely a month after the new financial year comes into force. So we are truly living in completely uncharted waters, and therefore this calls for very tough measures. We'll give an outline from the Treasury perspective, and we've shared a document with everybody. There are some areas where there's concurrence, I'm sure, with what the committee has established, and there could be areas where there could be some variance. And I believe that the purpose of this meeting is to be able to enable us to close ranks before you make the final presentation to Parliament. I will take the members through this document so that we follow as I make comments, and then where necessary, definitely I have my technical team led by the PS. They'll be able to delve deeper into some specific areas that maybe require a more detailed clarification. But on a lighter note, Mr. Chairman, before I start making my let me just put it on record that I'm acting in so many ministries, but I want to assure Kenyans I'm not earning any acting allowance. Because tough times call for austerity measures. So I think it should go on record that that is the position. So, Mr. Chairman, let me just draw members to page 2 of the document. Here we say that the National Treasury prepared the financial year 2024-25 Supplementary Estimates number 1 in accordance with Article 223 of the Constitution and Section 40 of the Public Finance Management Act, Cap 412A. The focus, Mr. Chairman, of this financial year supplementary estimates is to align the budget to the revised fiscal framework following the withdrawal of the Finance Bill 2024. Mr. Chairman, I'm sure members are aware that the National Assembly considered and approved the financial year 2024-25 expenditures, which were contained in the National Assembly Appropriations Bill number 34 of 2024, and His Excellency the President assented to it. The budget was to be funded through additional revenue measures amounting to Kenya shillings 344.3 billion, which were contained in the Finance Bill 2024, which everybody now knows that the President declined to assent to, resulting in a financing gap of similar amounts. And the reasons for his decline are well known to all Kenyans. So he did decline to assent to that bill. In view of this, the Treasury has prepared the financial year 2024 supplementary estimates, number 1, to cut down on planned activities and projects to close the financing gap of the said figure of 344.3 billion and to align the budget to the revised fiscal framework. Mr. Chairman, the proposed realignment covers quite a number of areas, but let me just flag. As indicated earlier, the withdrawal of the 2024 Finance Bill forced the government to forego an estimated revenue amount of 344.3 billion. The government will nonetheless continue with the implementation of the revenue-raising measures contained in the Finance Act of 2023. So the 2024 is out of the way, so we are working on the basis of the 2023 Finance Act. Now, to ensure the expenditures, Mr. Chairman, page 3, item 7. To ensure that expenditures contained in the financial year 2024-25 Appropriations Act are aligned to the revised fiscal framework, we propose the following measures. 1, expenditure rationalization. 2, adjustment of the projected revenue and borrowing. And 3, to implement policy measures to contain wastage. The rationalization of the budget, Mr. Chairman, calls for the following. the National Treasury proposes to rationalize tax revenue, that is for GK funded, Government of Kenya funded expenditures, allocations in the recurrent and development budget for ministries and departments and agencies, including allocations to the constitutional commissions, independent offices, parliament, the judiciary, and shareable allocation to county governments as provided in Table 1 in your document. So basically, Mr. Chairman, I'm affirming your position that everybody is taking a haircut. There's no exception whatsoever. Mr. Chairman, under item 9, on the development budget rationalization, because there's a table there for members to see, but I just want to talk to the points, and then we can come back to the table. We propose to rationalize the Government of Kenya funded development budget by 138.5 billion Kenya shillings, and this includes 8.3 billion from the NGCDF in synchronization with the revised revenue projections, 1 billion from Parliament, and 800 million from the judiciary. And at 10, we list some of the proposed development budget cuts. They will include some of these, not all, but we're just listing some. And there, Mr. Chairman, you will notice that we are going to have to slash 14.6 billion of public facilities. That is the last mile item. We will have to slash 14.1 billion from the roads, 6.5 billion from water, sanitation and irrigation projects, 6.5 billion from the police modernization project, 5.2 billion from the school infrastructure improvement, 3.3 billion for university infrastructure, 3.3 billion for settlement of the landless, 3.1 billion for action and equipping of TVET institutes, and 2 billion from the Hustlers Fund. So, Mr. Chairman, I'm just flagging this because the haircut that we are taking calls for very tough measures. Some of them are pleasant, but we have to do that. In terms of additional expenditure, we have proposed additional allocations for critical government programs in the financial year 2025, as indicated on paragraph 11, and you have touched on some of them. 2 billion for coffee debts, 1 billion for sugarcane farmers reforms, 500 million Kenya shillings for KCC factories to support the milk, 500 million for the tree planting programs, 450 million for the leather factory, Kenene leather factory, and 200 million for Hyde's fund. Mr. Chairman, on paragraph 12, we also indicate that we close the year, financial year 2023-2024, with some carryovers amounting to 218.5 billion. And out of this amount, we propose to factor 68.1 billion in the financial year 2024-25. That means we are bringing it back into that. And this will cover 23.8 billion for pensions and gratuities, 30.8 billion for transfer to counties, and 13.5 billion for the NGCDF. Mr. Chairman, in view of the above adjustments in the development budget, some of the key areas to be funded in the financial year 2024-25 development budget are also provided in table 2. So that gives the detail, and the total amount we are talking of is 203 billion Kenya shillings, 203.3 billion Kenya shillings. Now, Mr. Chairman, to realize the above mentioned realignment, the fiscal framework for the financial year 2024-25 budget has also been revised.